Let me just be very honest with you. When it comes to race day shoes, I always think Nike Vaporfly 3, New Balance's SCLE V4, or the Cloud Boom Echo 3 from On Running, or the Adios Pro 3. You get where I'm going with this, right? I have never thought in my life Diadora. Well, until now. Let's talk about it. Feels like forever since I last did a running shoe review. This one's definitely worth that comeback. I've done 4 runs in this shoe, totaling up to 32K. A long run, an easy run, rep session, including my first ever progressive hill rep session. It's time to talk about it. The 3 things you need to know. Whoa. I'm Aubrey, I'm a runner, and I'm good with being me. All right, the 3 things you need to know when you talk of stack, 39 mil at the back, 34 at the front, being a 5 mil drop. In terms of the weight, now here is what I like. That is how much it weighs. In terms of the competitors, well, there you go. There, and there, roughly, is what you should be benchmarking this shoe against. Now here is one thing that is a downer about this shoe. The price. £250. When we talk about the few things I don't like about this shoe, it's gonna be that. But I've come to expect that is the price of race day super shoes. Especially when you start considering the premium features that this shoe is packing. I sort of get it, but it's gonna be the one limiting factor that's gonna stop a lot of people getting this shoe. Let's get on with this. Let's start talking about the shoe, breaking it down from the top, working our way down. Let's talk about the heel. Now, the one thing I love about this shoe that I think it does better than all other race day shoes is this heel. This color here, that padding is very rare to see in a premium race day shoe. Let me show you an example. That is the Diadora Gara Carbon. And that is the Rocket X2. Can you see how thin that is? Okay. Adios Pro 3. Can you see how thin that is? So back to the shoe. Well done for that padding. Because normally race day shoes will have little to no structure at the back here to serve for that streamlining, really high performance, lightweight feel. I love this for that. It does have structure and I love that. So well done, Diadora, for doing that. So staying with the heel, when you look at the back over here, baby got back. All this here, I don't really get. There's probably rhyme or reason to it in terms of how it balances out, maybe how you land. I don't know. But maybe you could do away with all of that at the heel to make this thing lighter. Next is the tongue. Now, if you've watched my running shoe reviews, I make a fuss about tongues being gusseted. Maybe I make too much of a fuss. But sadly, this is not gusseted. I wish it was. What they have done to sort of make up for that is if you look at the tongue, right at the front over here, you've got these loops in the middle of the tongue there where you can feed the laces through. It's actually doubled. So you can see it's got one on either side, allowing you to feed the laces through. And that stops the tongue from sort of slipping down or moving about. But to me, that's better achieved with a gusseted tongue. With that said, in terms of the texture of the tongue, highly perforated, it's highly breathable, and you can see it's intentional in how well they've designed this tongue. I'm not going to fault it for that, but I definitely fault it for not being gusseted, just a personal preference. Next up is the lacing system, an absolute masterclass on how to do laces on running shoes, not just race day shoes, but running shoes generally. This type of lace, with the ribbed edge, these teeth, I'm telling you, once you tie these laces down, you're going to have to talk to the neighbors to come and help you undo them. Call the mother-in-law, your best friend, everyone you know, because these laces are staying put. They're not going anywhere. Secondly, in terms of the eyelets, look at that. Simple. They've got holes. Look, they've got holes. I don't like it when running shoes get all fancy and trying to do all sorts of funny eyelets, doing these spaghetti strings. No. Bang. Look at this. Look at that. That's all you need. That is literally all you need. Well done, Diadora, for a perfect lacing system. Oh, and before I go, the box came in with spare laces. So those laces are going on all other shoes too. Okay, cool. Next up, the upper, and they're calling it Matrix. Now for me, I could care less what they're calling it. That doesn't mean anything to me. What you need to know, 3 things. Is this shoe true to size? Yes, I wear a 9.5 UK and it fits me exactly how I want the shoe to fit. Toes right to the edge. I've got a little bit more breathing space, breathing room, and I love it exactly for that. When you look at the upper itself, it's highly breathable. It's not just perforations, but when you look at it, you can see right through this. But it's also looking to be quite strong and durable. Only time will tell, but across the runs I have done, I can assure you it feels that way. The other thing, when I talk about the upper, I always talk about the look. I like how clean that looks. Well, not anymore since I've put 32K in it and it's starting to look a bit used, but I love how pristine, minimalistic that looks. I love the exaggerated logo. It gives you that Diadora feel, but I love the fact that it actually is quite simplistic in its appearance. That's until you look at the midsole. They're calling it Anima PBX, PBAX. For those that don't know, again, just throw away the name. We don't really care about the name, but what's in it? It's PBAX. It is literally as best as it gets when it comes to midsole materials. What Diadora have put in here is what you're going to find in your favorite running shoes. Obviously, their own unique formulation of the foam, but it mixes in a carbon plate in between there. So you've got PBA foam, this PBAX. This is the very best that the running shoe world offers right now, with a carbon plate that runs through the length of that midsole, and it gives you an experience that if you were blindfolded, you would think you're in the Rocket X2. You would think you're in a Vaporfly. You would need to be told that actually this is a Diadora shoe. That, I guess, is the downside. So apart from this shoe being 250 pounds, which I think is a minus, the tongue not being gusseted, I do think the third thing, in considering the price, I feel like, and what I'm about to say will come across as rude, but I don't mean it to be. I mean it with the best intentions. If Diadora want the public, not only elite people, loyalists that know about Diadora, but if you're looking for people like me to get into this running shoe, I feel like Diadora need to recognize that they are Diadora, that this world has giants. It's got Nike, it's got Adidas, it's got Hoka, it's got so many, New Balance. It's got Saucony playing in this field. When you get to Diadora, it's right at the end of the thinking when you start thinking race day shoes. I would like Diadora to recognize that, and for me, the best way they can do that is adjusting the price of this shoe, because I genuinely believe it's an amazing shoe, but the price is a very big limiting factor. Let me talk about the outsole. That is the outsole of the Vaporfly 3. I criticize this. I'll show you right here. I criticize this outsole because of the back here. There's quite a little bit of wear and tear. You'd have to look at it closely. And sadly, I feel like it's going to be similar here. At the back here, I'm already starting to see that whilst they've offered in the key landing zones, there and there, they've offered some coverage, I'm already starting to see part of that midsole meeting the ground, simply because you can see where I land on the edge there, there's a little bit more. But by the time the dot starts getting affected, I don't really think it's going to affect the feel or the performance of the midsole at all. But I just wanted to make you aware of it, that whilst they have offered coverage, the coverage of this outsole doesn't necessarily protrude further out from the midsole to kind of protect that midsole. I wish there was a bit more of that, but that's a measure of trying to keep the shoe lightweight. I've covered in detail all aspects of the shoe. There is one thing that you can't really just give in terms of specs, but it's the feel. I'm genuinely upset for Diadora because they've got an absolute world-class premium running shoe. Why I'm upset is not a lot of people are going to give it a chance as that, simply because of that price point. I wish Diadora recognized that they actually might need to get a bit more of the market share into the running world and adjusted their price to make it accessible to so many people. And honestly, if you were blindfolded, you would have a tough time identifying which is which when compared to the world's best out there. Should you buy this shoe, and who is it for? For people that trust me to give an honest view and come to this channel for integrity and giving you an honest opinion. If you have 250 pounds to spend, be mindful that for 250, you could buy a race day shoe and a daily trainer at that price. It therefore makes it tough to encourage an average runner, a non-elite, everyday person that wants to get a race day shoe. It makes it tough to recommend this one. But if you would like to experience premium materials, an excellent running shoe, and you do have that 250 to spend, I don't see why this shoe doesn't contend with the Vaporfly, Alphafly, Rocket X2, Saucony, Endorphin Elite. I don't see why it doesn't. Until next time, head to the clouds, feet on the ground.